Today we're talking about the 8 steps to becoming a solid wholesaler and what you can do to dominate this space in your local market. Welcome to Shawn Tiberio TV, getting you quicker, faster, and more profitable results in your real estate investing business. On this channel, we focus on all areas of real estate, helping you grow your business and ultimately launch a successful real estate investing business. Now, if you haven't had a second or had a chance yet, go ahead and hit the little subscribe button and be sure to turn on the bell. This way you get notified each and every week when I upload a new video here to the channel. Now today, we're talking about the wholesaling side of our real estate investing business. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so what is wholesaling? Now, at the ground root of it, wholesaling is simply nothing more than finding a property at a very distressed or substantially lower dollar figure and reconnecting that property with a back-end buyer. Basically, I'm gonna find a property from a seller who's in a distressed situation, maybe bankruptcy, probate, about to see foreclosure. I'm gonna negotiate a discounted price given the situation and given the condition of the property, and then I'm gonna turn around and sell that contract to another investor for a profit. It's pretty much all wholesaling is at a very simplistic situation. Now, there's a lot of individuals out there who are ultimately doing this incorrectly, and we're going to get into some of the tips and the strategies on how to do it the proper way so that you can keep yourself out of the hot waters. Now, why do we even want to worry about doing wholesaling the proper way? Well, number one, there's a legal and an ethical, and even more importantly, like a moral standpoint that we need to operate as a real estate investor. Now, the other reason, and it's really the more predominant reason why we would want to do wholesaling the proper way, is we don't want to get caught up in any kind of legal mess. Maybe there's a fine, maybe we end up ultimately getting into even more serious complications or serious problems when we do it incorrectly. So how are some of these other investors out there doing it wrong? Well, number one, they simply are not following the proper steps. Some of the steps we're going to get into here in a second in this video, but ultimately they're just claiming that they have control of a home and out trying to sell that home to other individuals, or basically telling the seller that they're going to go shop out their particular home to other people to see if they can find somebody else to buy it for them. Now, the reason this is actually incorrect is it's a form of acting almost like a real estate agent. You see, a real estate agent is the one who's going to come in and put the property under a listing agreement and then ultimately list the property for sale on the multiple listing service and attract other buyers in. By these investors, quote unquote, or these other wholesalers trying to do the same thing without being licensed real estate agents, they're acting in an unethical and an illegal manner. So utilizing these tips and these steps that we're going to get into on this video, you're going to keep yourself out of that and ensure that you do things the right way every single time. Okay, well, this makes complete sense then. So what are the exact steps that we're going to follow? Well, I'm going to break this down into 8 simple steps to get your wholesaling business up off the ground, or take an existing wholesaling business that maybe you're still a little unsure of and make sure that you get it going under the proper guidelines. Okay, so step number 1 of this 8-step process is simply learn your market. I can't emphasize that enough. Now, what do I mean by learn your market? It's simply this: have a really good understanding of what's going on in your local marketplace. Understand the neighborhoods that people are truly wanting to buy in. Understand the type of homes that people want to buy. Also pay attention to Is it a 3-bedroom or is it more predominantly 2 bedrooms? Is it 2 baths? Is it 1 bath? What is it that the average home buyer in that area is ultimately looking for? Now we can do this by jumping on to Zillow and utilizing the information that we can see inside of Zillow of recently sold homes. And when we dig in and we look at the sold homes in certain neighborhoods, we're able to kind of get a better understanding of the sizes, of the styles, even more specifically, how much the price points are of the homes that are selling, and then where in the particular market are they actually selling? Is there a certain pocket of a neighborhood that's doing really well, or is it the whole entire area? Maybe we notice that in one area it takes a very long time for homes to sell, but over on another side of town, we're able to see that the homes move a little bit quicker and ultimately they move at a better price. The idea here is to be able to pinpoint in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes of looking up an address and know kind of what's the normal trends in that particular neighborhood. You're not going to know all the information every single time a new potential lead comes in, but if you have a general idea of what's going on in each of these little pockets, so to say, of your market, you're already doing a lot better than the average individual out there. Now, some of you guys may have been born and raised in a particular market and you think you know it really, really well. I'd encourage you to take this time and look through this step right here and just reconfirm and notice trends. Real estate trends happen all the time and we want to be on the forefront of those trends. So we're constantly doing this step here. We're constantly studying, we're constantly going back and reevaluating the different neighborhoods to make sure nothing's changed from what we originally knew or what we last looked at and noticed to see. This way, as those new trends start to creep in, we're not the investor that's caught being reactive. We're able to be a little bit more proactive and get out in front of it. Now, step number 2 in this whole entire scenario is probably one of the most overlooked and one of the more important strategies or steps when it comes to building a solid wholesaling business. You see, no business out there survives without marketing. So step number 2 is all about our marketing. That whether that be online, whether that be offline, if we're not consistently marketing, we want to study number 1, we want to pay attention to the market, what's going on with it, because it feeds our marketing side. This allows us to know where we should go marketing for distressed homes. Where is it people want to actually live? Well, that's the area that I want to try to find homes before they get to the multiple listing service. And that's the whole point of my online and my offline marketing. I want to be out in front. I want to make sure that the sellers think of me or see my message prior to getting on the phone with a real estate agent. As a solid wholesaler, I don't want to rely on properties coming off the MLS or properties coming from my agent. I want to be able to go out and source these myself. And when I know who's buying in different neighborhoods and when I know what people want, it's almost like I can go shopping for them. I just go find those type of homes in those neighborhoods, in those price points, and that's where we'll put our marketing efforts in. Now, I want to encourage you to make sure that we're balancing between offline things like bandit signs, direct mail, just being out in the neighborhoods, networking, these type of things, with also doing online strategies. In the year of 2019, the internet is ever more important than it's ever been. And when we're not leveraging the power of the internet and the power of Google and even the power of videos just like this in our marketing, we're almost doing ourselves a disservice. So ensure that when you're starting this business or if you want to scale to the next level in your wholesaling side, really pay attention to how's my marketing looking? Am I spending enough time on offline as well as am I spending some time putting out some online marketing strategies? Now, the key is stay consistent. It doesn't need to be a ton of marketing. It just needs to be consistently going out so that we don't look like the flash. We don't want to be the company that shows up this week and then nobody hears from us for a while and then all of a sudden we pop back up again. We want to be a consistent theme. They're constantly hearing and seeing our name, seeing our marketing pieces and our marketing messages everywhere. And I guarantee you, you will start to see more leads coming into your business by simply being consistent with the marketing. It's not about flooding, it's about the consistency of it. All right, so step number 3 is now we've got leads coming in and we're gonna need to qualify those leads. So in step number 3, we're gonna spend 5, 10, maybe even 15 minutes getting on a quick phone call or sitting down. If I meet somebody out face to face, spend 5 or 10 minutes and just talk to them. Ask some very basic questions, some things that you're gonna wanna pay attention to, some things that you'll want to make sure that you verify is information that the seller's giving you about the property. Ask them questions, ensure that they know a little bit about the property. Ask if they're the ones that are on title. Find out if they can tell you any details as to the condition of the home. Does it need work? When's the last time the roof was done? Kitchens, bathrooms, all these type of things. We want to be asking these questions in a way of qualifying that lead. You're going to get a lot of people, if you're doing your marketing right, if you've really studied your market, you've done steps 1 and steps 2 at a very high level, you're going to get a lot of phone calls. You're going to get a lot of information coming in. At that same time, you're going to get a lot of people who are just tire kickers. They're just looking, they're just thinking, they're just kind of testing the waters. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but as a wholesaler, we want to work with those who are seriously motivated and ready to take the next step. So we want to spend this time, 5, 10, 15 minutes, and just qualify it to make sure it's a viable lead that we want to continue to pursue. Now, step number 4 kind of goes hand in hand with step number 3. We're going to actually evaluate the lead. Here is when we're going to take it and we're going to go ahead. So we qualified it in step number 2. And in step number 4, we're going to evaluate it a little bit. Meaning, we're not going to rush right out to the house if somebody tells us that they have this great house that they want us to come and look at and possibly sell to us. As easy as it would be to fall into that trap and just go rushing out there, you want to spend 5 or 10 minutes on your computer, just like you see me sitting here at my desk looking at a computer screen. I want to spend 5 or 10 minutes. There's a lot of things that I can do just from this position right here to verify and really start to evaluate the whole process in it and ensure that what they've told me, number 1, is correct, and number 2, is it still worth going there? So what are some things that I want to kind of verify in this analysis piece of this? Well, the first thing that I like to do is I'll jump on and pull the actual tax record of the property. Here I want to see who's on title according to the tax records. I also want to double check the square footage and the bedroom bathroom count. The seller might tell me that it's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 4,000 square foot home, but on record, it's only a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 3,000 square foot home, which tells me they've done a little addition, they've added an extra bedroom and so in there, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just giving me some red flags of additional questions to ask. Did they do it under permitting? Because sometimes they do and it just doesn't update in the records. Other times it didn't update in the record because they didn't even pull a permit. This is information I want to know now before wasting time driving out to a particular property. Those of you that live in major cities, you can see how this 5 or 10 minutes in front of my computer doing more of a desktop analysis at this point, it's going to save me a boatload of time, because I'm telling you, you get in the car and say maybe Atlanta or LA, and 5 miles can turn into a 4-hour ordeal. It's the last thing I want to be dealing with. So we spend 5, 10, 15 minutes just doing a desktop analysis, verifying based on tax records, and I also spend time jumping back into either the MLS if you have access to it, or things like Zillow or Realtor.com, and just looking up what are some of the homes in the neighborhood in a half-mile radius or so around the home, the subject property. What did homes sell for recently, and how many have actually sold in the last 6 months? Here's where I'm going to get kind of my ballpark after repair value. And this is the magic number. There's really 2 major magic numbers when we have to analyze the deal, one of those being the after repair value. Basically, what can I sell this property for if it was in top-notch shape? So I want to look and see what other homes in that type of condition, in the top-notch shape, what did they sell for? How long ago did they sell, and how long did it take them to sell? And I want to make sure that I'm looking at comparables, same roughly square footage, same rough bedroom bathroom count. I've got additional trainings on these in some other videos that you guys can check out as well. But I want to do that and get my solid number of my after repair value. If it still looks good, we'll go ahead and move on to the next step. Okay, so here we are now on step number 5, and as I said, if everything's looking good up to this point, we're gonna go ahead and visit the property. Step number 5 is all about getting in the car, getting out there, and going to physically see it. This is probably the number one mistake I see a lot of new wholesalers miss. They actually don't spend the time going out and looking at the property, and they just go based on assumptions, or they go based on pictures, or they just go based on what they've been told by a seller. And the fastest way to lose discredit in this community is when you put a potential lead, a potential wholesale opportunity in front of someone like myself, who's a very avid rehabber, and your numbers are all over the place and you don't really have any general idea or real solid proof as to why your repair number is where it's at. So take the time, go out, walk the property, take some photos of it, look it over, and get an estimation of repairs. Now, if you're not sure how to estimate repairs, I've got a phenomenal training and a lot of phenomenal resources and tools for you guys. All you have to do is throw a little comment down in the comment box, top results estimation, and I'll get with you. We'll get that information over to you, and we'll tell you how you can access some of the additional trainings so that you can learn how to take this step right here and knock it out in about 15 to 30 minutes. Whether you've got construction background or not, we've got a way of teaching you exactly how to walk a property so that you can do this in 15 to 30 minutes. Now, once you have your repair number, that'd be your second most important number. We know what we can sell it for, and we know what it's going to cost us to sell it at that price. This is why I do the desktop analysis in the step ahead of this, so that when we're out there at the home walking it, we're able to look at it and compare to what we've seen selling on the market. I'm going to estimate the number of what it's going to cost to basically fix it to the level that it needs to be at to match those homes that have already sold. At this point, I'll be ready to sit down and actually fully analyze and come up with my offer number, and we'll move in to the next step. Step number 6 is structure the offer. You got it. We're going to structure the offer now at this point. I've got all my information, I've done all my due diligence, and as you can see, I've put in a lot of time and energy and effort up to this point. So I know when I make the offer that I'm about to structure and put out there to the seller that it's a very solid number. It's not a guess, it's not a hypothetical, but I'm literally going to offer a dollar amount of what we would pay for the home. And now some of you are asking, but Shawn, why? Oh, why do I need to make the offer if all I'm doing is wholesaling it? Can't I just go find a buyer and tell them that this person wants to sell and let them make the offer? Again, I go back to the beginning when I said that there's a lot of people out there doing this incorrectly. Even as a wholesaler, we need to enter into this transaction, we need to enter into this relationship as if we are the ones moving forward with it. Now, we're going to make the offer, but we're also going to make an offer and let the seller know that there might be somebody else who steps in and buys this property or buys my contract with you, buys it from me prior to closing. And I explain this to the sellers when I make the offer that we sometimes have other individuals like to buy properties from us as well, and we might put this offer in front of them that they could step in and act in our place and basically take assignment over of the contract. And I'll talk about the two ways that you can close and the difference of those here in a future step. But basically in this offer period now, we're writing an offer out there, we're giving them the guidelines, and we're waiting for the seller to agree. Now, a little known fact out there, don't be afraid to write the offer. 70%, you heard me right, 70% of all your first offers to a subjective seller are going to get denied, meaning 7 out of 10 offers you write, they're going to say no to. So just get the first offer out, which opens up a dialogue now to be able to negotiate and communicate back and forth. Once you have it locked up under contract, once they've said yes and you've filled out your actual contract, we'll move into the next step. All right, step number 7 is all about marketing yet again. That's right, it's all about marketing yet again. This time though, we're marketing that contract that we just put in place with the seller out to our other investors. We're going to market it out to those that are also doing real estate in our local market so that they can hear about it and see the details of it. Here's yet another major mistake that a lot of inexperienced wholesalers are making out there, where they're not showing the contract that they want to assign over to the prospective buyers, and they're not giving any details as to what the agreements are that they put in place in that offer section with the seller. This is vital to your back-end buyer, so you're going to market this out. And I've got an upcoming video teaching you guys exactly how to put together a solid marketing package for your wholesale opportunities. So when you've got the contract, you've got your estimation of repairs, you've got a lot of data that you've pulled, you could package this up really nicely to put it out there in a very formal marketing way so that potential rehab buyers or potential landlord buyers in your marketplace have all the information that they need to ultimately make a decision whether they're going to move forward. This one act right here is something that hands down will take a so-so wholesaler and turn them into a phenomenal wholesaler in your local market, just by simply packaging your information up and formally presenting that offer of to buy the property or to buy the contract for the property to the individual. So you're offering the contract of the property you've put down. You're offering all that information to this back-end buyer. I'm telling you, it'll be the first thing that a lot of serious rehabbers and landlords notice about you. It's completely different than those out there doing this wrong. Now, step number 8, it's time to decide. Either I'm assigning it or I'm going to do the double close. Now, what's the difference? Well, an assignment contract is simply, as I stated earlier, I'm going to put a contract in place with the seller, and then I'm going to assign, meaning sign over the rights of that contract to my new buyer. Now, that new buyer is going to step in and they're going to have to execute everything that's inside this contract. That's why it's so vital in the step prior to this to make sure they have all that information so they're making a solid, sound investment decision off of the correct information. Now, the second way to close is to do what we call double close. Now, a double close is simply this. I've got a contract with the seller. I'm going to go ahead and close with that seller. It means I'm going to have to line up some funds. Now I'm going to turn around and re-close. I'm going to put another contract in place between me as the new homeowner and my new buyer, and I'm going to close again on that same home with my new back-end buyer. Some of you are saying, but why wouldn't I just do the first option the whole time, Shawn? That one seems a whole lot easier than this whole double close mess. And I 100% agree with you. Assignment contracts are probably some of the most simple and easy transactions to do. However, they do come with one downside or one negative, and that is everybody involved must stay in the project or must stay involved in this because they have everybody's kind of in this pot now together. Now, with a double close, we don't have that so much. We have a transaction between two parties, and then we have another transaction between two parties. So it's a little easier to control the double close. Now, the other reason that you might not be able to do an assignment contract is simply because your new buyer isn't able to execute the timeline or execute on everything that you have in your contract. For example, maybe you have that contract in place and you said that you were going to close within 30 days, but you didn't line up your new buyer, you didn't find somebody for that until day 25. Well, asking them to close in 5 days is going to be pretty quick. Maybe they need 7 days. Well, you're going to still need to execute over here, close this one, and then in a couple days, re-close again with your new buyer. It's another easy example, and there's a number of reasons why. These are some of the very basic ones. Now, going back to the assignment one, and everybody being into this big pot, that adds this most crucial step at the very, very end that we all need to do. And when you do this one well, you're going to make a very solid name for yourself as a wholesaler in your market. All right, we've discussed a lot of information on today's video. I want to remind you, don't let the lack of information be the reason that you freeze. Take the steps necessary to keep moving forward. Plug away. If you're unsure of what to do next, reach out. Throw a little comment in the bottom of this video. Come back and rewatch this video. Reach out to me on social media at Shawn Tiberio, both on Facebook and on Instagram. I'd love to help you. If you really are wanting to get serious and sit down and really get going with your real estate investing business, then let's get on a call and let's talk about how the Top Results coaching program and myself can help you get to the next level. Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, if you took something away from it, throw a little comment down in the comment box. Let me know what it was that you took away from this or what the most valuable piece was. Also, if you'd like to see additional trainings, let me know in the comment box as well. Tell me what you'd like to see me break down or teach you guys a little bit more about. Be sure to also subscribe and turn on that bell notification so you get all the new videos as we post them each and every single week under our real estate investing playlist. Also, don't forget, connect with me on social media. I love to get to know you guys. I'd love to see how we can help, and I look forward to seeing you on another video here very soon.